We are the wind in the sails of your business. We are your compass. Chart your course towards your targets. Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They would make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insight on African millennials on Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
I think it's been a while I heard the bird song and I've been vibing to it. I'm sure many of you know these bird songs from the editions we've been having for the past 2 seasons now, and I'm sure you've heard it on the first 4 episodes we've had on the African Millennial Radio Show. Anyways, I'm back again on this very wonderful Wednesday afternoon from the coastal city of Lagos, West Africa. I'm Tommy Wale, and I'm going to be having a conversation with someone who, of course, my guests are always interesting, but this is going to take a different turn. I know we've had conversations on media relating to Nollywood and someone trying to, grow himself in that space and also seeing opportunities in the third biggest movie industry in the world, which is Nollywood. And then we've also talked about branding and brand positioning for organizations. Now, right now, I actually want us to look away from organizations and, things to do. Right, and I decided to shift the mode of the conversation into people now doing things themselves and going against, the big elephants, of the forest, of the industry, going against the powers that be, not going against, at least trying to take away some status quo and then create, novel paths for themselves. And that is why I have a very, very interesting person in the studio today, Mr. Joseph Oru. Okay, I think what I usually do, I'm sorry guys, what I usually do is actually read the bio of the person before I now mention his name. But then Joseph Oru. So I'm just going to say some things about him. Joseph Oru is a seasoned professional with over 5 years experience in international business development and specialized events management. Having added many feathers to his cap in his career, he started a product and applications manager. He started as a product and applications manager for an automotive company in Lagos and moved on to amassing experience in trade and commerce industry by working with leading companies locally and internationally. Now, there's a whole lot more, right? But I think my first point of meeting Joseph was nothing with what was in his bio right now. I think I met him through that gentle person who would walk down the aisle, at one of the most organized weekly gatherings in Africa, taking pictures. Will I say weekly gatherings? I'm trying not to be so religious, but then, taking pictures and then also leading, the photography team of the biggest concerts in the world right now. So Joseph Oru, that's how I met him, and then he's this person now. Anyways, let's meet you beyond what people have heard from me. How you doing now?
I'm good. Thank you, Tommy, for having me today.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome.
Like you said, so I was born in June, so most time I used the zodiac sign to say Gemini, 2 sides. So there's one side.
The Gemini man.
Yeah. So there's one side which you know, and then there's the other side which a lot of people don't know.
Okay.
So I have a creative background. I also have like a business background.
And that's a good mix.
I try for both of them not to meet at any point in time. So you can meet me in my creative element, being a photographer, and you can also meet me in my other element, being a business person, in the exhibition events industry.
Okay, well, for the purpose of our conversation, I think we're just going to talk about your business side.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And then maybe another time, we go talk about the photography talk about the photography and the creative side of it. Now, what has work been for you, right? you can track back to as far as you want to track back. Yeah. Like, what has work been like for you? What has just been the thing that just kept you going with work? I understand the money parts, but if there's something like, the passion thing, what has work been like?
So, I would say, because somebody has done it before, then I can.
All right.
Yeah. So, and what has also worked for me is, the value system that I basically want to create and building capacity for the current environment and an extended environment, which is probably the future and all that. So I would say, yes, that is what has worked for me, what has made me different from every other person in my business workspace. It's my attitude to work. Being diligent. I always seek excellence. Yeah. Excellence in everything that I want to do. And and then that will wanting to push. And then when someone tells you that you cannot do it, I got that whole thing in 2019. At first I thought I don't have any enemy in the whole world. Like, everybody likes Joseph.
Everybody likes it.
And then the minute I asked for a 5% equity of something that could turn out to be $1 million project, then I saw all the enemies.
That's 5%. That's a whole lot.
Yeah, and I mean,
enemies will show up.
Yeah, I saw enemies saying, "We will not give you this. We cannot give you this. You are a nobody. So why would you be asking for this?" And I said, "I am asking because I'm worth it." And so it's only normal. You just and then work with the young people, because you cannot be claiming to say the young people are the future of tomorrow. And then when one young person says, I want to sit at the table. He said, "No, I wouldn't give you any seat. You have to sit on the floor." And I said, "No, I want to sit at the table." So I think those were the things that pushed me and, pushed me to do what I am actually doing right now.
Okay, so I heard something you said about you can't do something and then you do it. For some people, once you tell them you can't do it, there's some people that could actually be their motivation.
Yeah.
If you would track it back, when was the first time you really felt like or can you remember a first experience where that kind of a thing happened? That some people maybe said, you can't do it, and you could even be maybe a teenager, and then your friend said you can't ask that girl out. Just kidding. Yeah.
If I track back, I would say going back to my university days, I read mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Came from a background where my family, the only one that liked book in the house. So there was that point where I wanted to get a second-class upper, at a very good second-class upper. And the environment, the situation, I mean, before you get money to buy textbook or handout, you have to find a way of getting those money, So one of my friends said, just live with what will eventually become. And I'm like, no, like I can get to this level. I can get my upper class if I want to. And so I just put my mind towards it. I was a footballer in school then also, so I didn't allow that to stop me from playing football, right? So I just went ahead, read morning, afternoon, night, and I did make my second class upper in mechanical engineering.
Oh man, that's such a motivation. Okay, now you've established some things about your work that you don't take no.
Yeah.
Right. It looks like no is actually that motivation. And then I heard you say something about demanding some things at the table, which is very, very important. Now, I understand that power is usually not given, it's taken.
Yeah.
And you tend to have a couple of projects going on right now.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us what the experience has been as an independent person going against these elephants, right? Or these things, and then trying to demand that?
Well, see, this story, I actually get emotional about it at times because I never thought people could, actually not support young people, right? And for me as a business person, I went into the business space fighting from the very first day. So my history is basically not wanting to give me a seat at the table to me wanting to, take the entire house. So I'll just say I just went ahead with it, and when I started, the bad media about me,
Wait, bad media, you had?
So I had that whole thing where the company, I'm not going to call their name, sent letter to companies I've worked with, built relationships, saying I'm a fraud, that I'm a bad person, just because I asked for 5%. And so, luckily, a friend of ours,
now I know you're fighting.
a friend of ours called us and said, we got a letter from these guys. What did you guys do? I said, we just wanted a better life for ourselves and our children. We just wanted to a seat at the table. And, went in there. Someone said, we can't show you the letter because we cannot imagine why would somebody do such a thing to a Nigerian. Or you write that kind of thing because the person refused a job offer. So we just ran with it. There was a press release saying that my parent company sacked every single person, which wasn't the truth. But I just let everything lie and say, we want to basically build. And let's focus on building. Anything anybody wants to say, they will indirectly promote us by, because, for example, somebody comes to you and say, this guy is a bad person. You probably want to find out why this guy is a bad person. And then you come and find out he's not a bad person.
So it's a promotion in disguise.
It's a promotion in disguise. So the pandemic came 2 years down the line since we started our project. And those guys, they've lost steam. They've lost steam, and I'll just say it's just sheer greed. Just sheer greed from the upper class people who never want to give the young people something.
Opportunities. And it was this man at Edo Peter side. Right, there was this event he was, and I think we had the captains of industry sitting there, and he said something that when the current men at the helms of finance, capitalism in Nigeria, for example, that when they started, they had people give them the opportunities. And he was saying that you need to give these people the opportunities, right? Now, for you to be saying this right now, right, just shows that it's one thing for the younger generation to say they want to do some things, right? It's another thing for the older generation to actually want them to have. And I think for the first time on this show, you're the person who is actually coming to share experiences and saying that, see, this thing, right, it's a reality. These people do not want you to.
No.
So, okay. Now, the question is, I'm not, maybe not directed at you, but what would they do with the things that they have?
So, well, good question, Tommy. And
they're urgent soon.
Yeah, good question. And I said, I cracked the joke to say, the baby boomers are leaving soon. And I don't know what they want to do with position, businesses, equity, and all those whole stuff. And you think about it. When you think about it deeply, you understand. I told one of them one time, and I said, just form alliance with young people and see the strength that they have, because they are dynamic, they're creative. If you get the young people to key into your business will run good. Because in the next 10 years, young people will basically be captains of industry. So if you miss that opportunity to allow a young person be at the table in your organization, you're going to lose out in 5-10 years time. That's the honest truth. You lose out in 5-10 years time.
I hope they know this. I hope they get to listen to this, and I hope they get to agree with it, and I don't know if it's, so they'll say some people are lazy, can't do something. No, I see people hardworking, and then they're trying to block them. Let's have a short break, and then we'll be back to have more conversations, deep into, a couple of things they're currently working on and how you've been trying to get the results. So, yeah.
We are the wind in the sails of your business. We are your compass. Chart your course towards your targets. Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They would make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insights on African millennials on Africa Business Radio. Towards a profitable Africa.
That's cool on the beat.
welcome back. I'm really enjoying the conversation with Joseph Oro this afternoon, and I'm sure many of you will have actually sat back during the break and just be thinking that, okay, I know we're trying to create something for ourselves. Are we not just going to build things from the ground up? But then the space of building things from the ground up, once, there's a view of something shooting, trust regulators to come around, and the custodians of these regulators are, the older generation. And we have Joseph Oro, who is actually sharing experiences of what he has, been through so far, what is currently going through so far. Now, what's a major project you're currently working on? Okay, so, magic happens when people come together for business reasons, right? So I am big in terms of exhibitions and trade promotion globally. So we are organizing an exhibition in the manufacturing sector, connecting businesses locally, regionally, and internationally. So it's just have business conversations, sales, brand awareness, and all the whole thing. Oh, okay. Now, I'm sure in going through this, right, you can't just wake up and just go and run an exhibition.
Yeah.
You have to go through the people in government, to maybe get some approvals and things like that. Has this experience with them been good?
So, we do not have a regulator when it comes to the business event industry, and maybe this conversation will be for another day. Okay. I started something around August during COVID, the pandemic, whereby nobody was represented from our industry. So I gathered all the organizers, local and international, on a Zoom call and said, see, we need to start having this conversation. So currently we have an alliance, and we have reached out to the Lagos State Governor for a meeting to say there is a community of people that contributes to the GDP of the state and also the country. So we should have some sort of regulations and all. But apart from that, you have, organizations that want to regulate, but there's no value in the regulation. So somebody comes to say, for you to run your event, you pay maybe $3,000, and you ask yourself, what am I going to get in return? You find on there's nothing. It's just want to have money, So because of it's an open ground, you have loads of internationals come to do event here. Come do event, take money, go back. Come do event, take money, go back. So we're just few of us here in Nigeria that want to, start this industry. And because of a few were young, we're going against people that have been there, who are used to the old style of event, which is trade fair. Everybody come and gather in one place and buy stuff at cheaper rates. But if you research about exhibitions around the world, it's massive. I remember during pandemic, Germany gave the industry huge amount of money as subsidy to say, don't lay your staff away. Same happened in UK and other parts, but here,
because exhibitions actually bring a lot of people into the country.
Yeah, tourism.
That's some potential FDI in such conversations. So it's very, very important that people like you even regulate. Or come together and then form that regulatory body. Right? And they will now give opportunities to a whole lot more people to do it. And I hope that you won't get angry and say, we went through a lot to get this regulation. All the things we went through, you people pay the money. And then you now become bottlenecks also to the younger people.
So I think I always say, I just need a couple of people who are just fearless, like myself. And say no matter what it is, we will do the right thing and chase that thing that needs to be done. And that's all I just think I basically need, because anybody in the political office, 4 years time, 8 years time, you're off.
Now, with your experience really in dealing with the government, is it do you think it's something that it's encouraging? Or do you think it's encouraging? One, secondly, do you think that the government is really, really keen on helping out, or encouraging is the word again, new things?
So I would say yes to an extent, but you just need to find that table again.
Right.
Yeah, I keep saying that table. You just need to find that table. So an example is Kano State Investment Promotion Council. They're looking for investment around the world. They want to build the industry in Kano, right? The DG, woman, industrious, and because she wants investment, she's keen into it to say, I'll be there too at the opening ceremony. Same with Ondo State and all. But I think it's just meeting the right person, selling the value of what you have to that person. And most time, again, if that person is someone who understands the ability of this young person and they see value in what you're doing, they will key into it. But apart from that, yes, we've had some other not go so good conversation that most time it always falls back to what we are trying to basically, fight. So that's just basically it. It's quite unfortunate though, but we just need to...
It's a fight anyways, and from what I've heard about you, you always win at the end of the day.
I always win. I never lose.
These things would... Well, so about this exhibition now, when is it happening now?
So it's happening 27th, 28th, 29th at the Landmark Center. 3 days events, business to business conversation. So this year we're looking at doing a hybrid model. Whereby, because of the travel restrictions, people can't actually fly in. Again,
you've come again with what's that thing? Seeing the funny situation as an opportunity again.
Yeah, so we are, I'm working with a massive, good operational team, and we're trying to create a system that you can still connect and speak with manufacturers around the world in a hybrid model. So we are, and it's going to be the first event in the year when it comes to international exhibition. It's going to be the first hybrid event, and we want to basically set the pace for others to follow, because I believe that once we're done with this, and every other event organizer will want to basically emulate or try and do the same thing.
Wow, I mean, this is very, very interesting. One thing I've actually learned myself from this is, I keep hearing this thing about once there's a challenge, it's an opportunity, there's something, and I can actually see that it seems to be something that you've actually that's become a part of your lifestyle, right? Because there's a no there's an opportunity. When you said that some people actually did bad press for you, right? You saw that as an opportunity for publicity.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. It's not as if when I had my no, I just said, you know what, I'm going. Thomas, to be honest, I cried for weeks. I was asking myself, what next? What next? What next? The year before I was on TV, newspaper everywhere, and now, like, what is going to happen? And my spirit just said, while everybody's trying to force themselves through one door, and I just looked and there was a window. Very small, but on the other side, it's quite big. So I just took that route, and the process is hard, interesting. I learn every single day. If I look back and consider myself in 2019 and what has happened now, I've made some decisions. I have people throwing proposal in front of you, and you're asking yourself, which one am I going to take? Which one is going to benefit me, and not just me, but the business that we're trying to also build. So you have all those things. The process is not easy, to be very honest. It's tedious. We work 24/7 because of time difference. If I want to speak to someone in China, I have to be awake by 2 a.m. And then when it's 9 a.m., the person here in Nigeria is also awake. So it's a 24 hours kind of business, and it's also interesting.
I mean, this is actually so good. This is authentic, right? This is actually a real story.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very happy to have actually asked you to come be, on the radio show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the time. Guys, it's, what's your Twitter? Do you have social media?
Personal Twitter?
Well, yeah, personal Twitter.
So it's SEPHORU across all social media.
So that's the Seth from Joseph.
Yes, the Seth from Joseph.
Okay,
so
then
which takes me back.
SEPHORU.
Which takes me back to Gemini. So there's Joe. Right. Seth.
Right. So we have a Gemini man in the studio today who has 2 faces, right? And he's maxed and unmaxed at the same time. He's both the man in the castle and the man in the iron mask at the same. No. That's not good. That's not good. He's 2-faced. All right then. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being on the African Millennial Radio Show. It's Tommy Wale. Don't forget to go on africabusinessradio.com or search the African Millennials on Google and Apple Podcast and Spotify. That's Google, Apple, and Spotify, podcast. It's Wednesday. You still have 2 more days to enjoy, the week and get things done. And don't forget, once it's Friday, please guys, be careful, stay safe, social distancing, wear a mask, wash your hands a lot, don't drink and drive, and make sure that every single day of your life and every time really counts for something. Alright, it's about time to leave. Another shout out again, I'm sorry, my producer is really Mickey Jagger. I'm sure you're enjoying the show, guys. He's the one. Thank you very much, guys. All right. Have a wonderful afternoon and night.
They are 1.8 billion globally. They would make 75% of workforce by 2025. They will outspace earnings of baby boomers in less than 10 years. Smartphones and tablets are the argument settlers and fact checkers for every conversation. Get more insight on African millennials on Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
We are the wind in the sails of your business. We are your compass. Chart your course towards your targets. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.